Hi, and thanks for logging on to the Daily Dvar. And here's a brand new Halacha for you, and it's for Sunday, 17th day of June. Here we go. Today's Halacha is about what bracha to make on dessert foods at a meal. Quite a controversial topic. Here are the basic things you need to know. Generally speaking, whenever you make a hamotzi at the beginning of a meal, that hamotzi covers most, you can almost say all of the brachos that go along with the main meal that you're eating. So that all of the chicken, rice, vegetables, and all the stuff that goes with your main meal, including the drinks, are all covered by the hamotzi that you made at the beginning of the meal. Now when you get to dessert, it gets interesting. Dessert, the way Halacha views it, is like this. See, you ate your meal, and you filled up your stomach on your chicken, your rice, or whatever it is that you were eating. Dessert is often viewed as just something not really to satiate you because you're kind of full from your meal, but the dessert is just to satisfy like a sweet craving that you might have at the end of the meal, and you feel like having a little bit of fruit at the end of the meal just to kind of like sweeten it at the end or something like that. So therefore, Halacha views that as not necessarily part of the bread main meal. It's an extra. In that regard, it would turn out that the bracha that you made of hamotzi at the beginning of the meal didn't actually cover your dessert food. Therefore, there are a lot of poskim that say that a lot of the desserts that you eat at the end of a meal need their own bracha. If you're having something like raw fruit, apples or something at the end of the meal, most poskim will pretty much say that you for sure need to make a borei pri ha'etz on the fruit that you eat at the end of a meal. If you have something like cooked fruit, that gets kind of interesting. Some say that because it's cooked, it's not really so much to satisfy a sweet craving. It's really the kind of thing that you could have had cooked fruit with your meal and everything. So cooked fruit actually turns out to be a rather large argument. Therefore, the safest thing might be to say, if you're going to have cooked fruit as your dessert, get a piece of fresh fruit, make a borei pri ha'etz on the fresh fruit of your dessert, and then include with that the thinking that I'm going to have some cooked fruit, and then you won't be in any questionable situation. Now when it gets down to desserts that are shahakal brachos, like let's say chocolate, you will hear some debate. You might want to speak to your rabbi, but there are a fair number of poskim that say that that too is something that's separate and away from the meal, and you should therefore make a separate bracha on the chocolate that you're having as the dessert of the meal. Shahakal. If you're having peanuts, you make a hadama on the peanuts that you're having as a dessert. If it's popcorn, you make hadama on the popcorn that you're having as the dessert of the meal. If you're having coffee and tea at the end of your meal, that too becomes quite a debate, whether that needs a separate bracha or is that considered part of the meal. Probably the best thing to do in such a situation is, again, take something like chocolate that you know is a dessert and you know gets its own shahakal, and think that it should cover the coffee or tea. Now, everything that I've said here quickly in these 2 minutes, there are debates about this. You might want to speak to your rabbi so you get the accurate knowledge on what he feels you should do. And tomorrow, if we get a chance, we'll talk about cake as a dessert and whether that needs a separate bracha. Thanks for logging on. Log on again tomorrow for more. Bye-bye.